What if I told you that a single quarter from 2005, with the tiniest detail most people never notice, could be worth more than your car, your house, and your retirement savings combined? Yes, you heard that right. One little 2005 Kansas quarter, with a P mint mark, is now making headlines among collectors for being worth an eye-popping $1.5 million. And guess what? It might already be in your home, tucked in a drawer, buried in the couch cushions, or jingling in your car's cup holder. In today's video, we're diving into the mysterious and millionaire-making world of the 2005 P Kansas quarter. Why is it so valuable? What should you look for? Who's paying that kind of money? And could you be the next accidental coin millionaire? Stick around. You don't want to miss this. Let's set the stage. The year was 2005. The U.S. Mint was deep into its 50-state quarters program, releasing 5 new quarter designs every year to honor each state in the Union. That year, Kansas got its turn. Elegant. Clean. A bold American bison standing tall, and the state's nickname, the Sunflower State, gracefully etched beneath it. Minted in Philadelphia, the 2005 Kansas quarter seemed like just another regular coin rolling off the press, but here's where it gets interesting. Not every coin that came out of that batch was ordinary. Some quarters were different. And different in the coin world often means valuable. A minting issue caused by grease clogging the die led to the missing T in trust, so what was meant to read "In God We Trust" now hilariously and shockingly reads "In God We Rust." At first, people thought it was a joke. A prank. Just a worn-down coin. But numismatists, that's a fancy word for serious coin collectors, started digging deeper, and they found dozens of these error coins. Then hundreds. But out of all of them, only a handful were pristine, uncirculated, or in high mint state condition. One of these 2005 P Kansas quarters, in nearly flawless condition and with this exact error, sold for an eye-watering $1.5 million. Yes. 1 quarter. 1 letter missing. $1 million mistake. Well, not exactly. You see, in the world of coin collecting, scarcity drives value. The fewer high-quality errors exist, the higher the demand, but there's more. It's not just about rarity. It's about quirkiness, story, and history. This isn't just an error, it's a snapshot of a mistake made by a massive institution. It's a piece of American history with personality. Collectors want coins that spark conversations, coins that make people stop and say, "Wait a minute, that says what?" And when that kind of demand meets a nearly mint-state Kansas quarter with the "In God We Rust" error, well, that's where the million-dollar bids start flying. Go grab your coin jar. Seriously. Because here's what you need to look for. Start with the basics. Flip that Kansas quarter over. Check for the P mint mark, that means it was made in Philadelphia. Next, focus on the phrase "In God We Trust." Tilt the coin under a light. Examine it carefully. If the T is faint, missing, or looks like it never existed, you might be holding something incredibly rare. Now look at the bison. In some error coins, you'll notice strange doubling or slight misalignments, which can increase the value even more. Condition matters. The cleaner the coin, the sharper the detail, and the less it's been handled, the more valuable it becomes. But hold on. Because even if you find one, your journey's just beginning. Let's say you find what looks like a Kansas quarter with the "In God We Rust" error. Don't go rushing to eBay just yet. You need a professional grading service. 2 major players dominate this space, PCGS and NGC. They evaluate the authenticity and condition of your coin and assign it a grade from 1 to 70. A Kansas quarter with this error in mint state 65 or higher can be worth thousands. In mint state 68? That's where we're talking 6 or 7 figures. Verification is key. Without grading, it's just a funny-looking quarter. With grading, it's a certified collectible. And in the coin world, certification is everything. Let me tell you the story of Mike Sanders from Des Moines. A retired construction foreman, Mike had a habit of tossing all his spare change into a big jar every evening. One rainy Sunday, while watching football, he decided to sort through the coins. Boom. He found it. A shiny Kansas quarter that looked off. He almost threw it back in, until something made him pause. He Googled the phrase "In God We Rust," and his heart skipped a beat. That coin had been professionally graded as MS-67, authenticated, and listed for auction. It sold for just under $900,000. Mike paid off his mortgage, bought a fishing cabin, and is now known in his neighborhood as the Quarter King. And here's the twist. Mike says he almost gave the coin to his grandson for a gumball machine. If you hit the jackpot, don't go it alone. Selling a valuable coin requires strategy. Reach out to reputable auction houses that specialize in rare coins, places like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers. These experts will help you market your coin to the right audience, the people who have deep pockets and a passion for unique pieces. Never sell to a random buyer at a flea market or pawn shop. That's like trading a Rolex for a rubber band. Be patient. Be smart. And know your coin story, because sometimes the story is just as valuable as the metal it already has for some folks. And the crazy part is, you might be next. Right now, there are error coins worth thousands, even millions, hiding in old wallets, junk drawers, and forgotten jars. So before you dismiss your spare change as nothing but laundry money, take a closer look, because that quarter in your hand? It might just be your ticket to a new life, a fresh start, and a millionaire story that starts with, "Once upon a time, I checked my pocket change." Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, especially the ones who never let go of their spare change. You never know whose life might change next. What if I told you that the secret to unlocking $1 million fortune might be sitting in your junk drawer right now? A simple coin. One you probably spent on a cup of coffee back in 2001. A quarter from Kentucky. Minted in Denver. Worth not 25 cents, but $1.6 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, sit back. Because today, we're diving into the story behind the 2001 Kentucky quarter dollar that shocked the coin world and changed lives. This isn't just about coins. This is about missed chances, hidden gems, and the moment that could turn a quiet afternoon into a windfall. So let's take a walk down the winding path of American numismatics, and by the end of this video, you just might be flipping every quarter you've got. Let's rewind to the year 2001. While the world was getting used to the dawn of a new millennium, the U.S. Mint was rolling out one of the most ambitious coin programs in history, the 50-state quarters program. Each design celebrated a state, its history, culture, and identity. When Kentucky's turn came, the design was striking. A grand thoroughbred racehorse behind a wooden fence. The stately Federal Hill Mansion in the background, a nod to Kentucky's deep connection to horse racing and Southern heritage. It was beautiful, but here's where things get interesting, and where this little coin starts to separate itself from the pack. The Denver Mint produced millions of these coins, yet, out of all those coins, only a few had a microscopic flaw. A difference so small, so subtle, most people never noticed, but coin experts did. Here's where your curiosity might just start to spike. What makes a coin go from pocket change to $1 million prize? It's usually a perfect storm: rarity, condition, and error, and the 2001 Kentucky quarter had all three. Imagine this. A small handful of these quarters left the Denver Mint with what experts call a rotated die error, where the image on one side of the coin isn't aligned properly with the other. On top of that, some of them had doubled dies, where parts of the image appear twice, like a ghostly echo. Now, to the untrained eye, it looks like nothing, but to collectors, it's like finding a four-leaf clover in a haystack. One of those quarters, in pristine condition, showed up in an estate sale in Texas, bought for face value. Sold later for $1.6 million. Yes. 25 cents to over $1 million, and no one saw it coming. You might be thinking, could I have one of those? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Or maybe, let me tell you about Michael, retired Navy vet. Lives in Oklahoma. He started collecting coins after his wife passed, just to keep his mind busy. Found a Kentucky quarter with a strange tilt and a roll of change from the bank. He almost tossed it aside, but curiosity got him. He sent it in for grading. Weeks passed, then came the call. Estimated value? Over $800,000. Not quite the $1.6 million, but more than enough to pay off his house, his daughter's student loans, and donate to his local church. Real man. Real coin. Real reward, and here's the best part. There are more out there. In old jars. Behind couch cushions. In glove boxes and garage sales. Good. Because next, we're going to show you how to find one. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need a good eye, a little patience, and the right information. At first, flip the coin. Look at both sides. The top of George Washington's head aligned exactly with the top of the reverse side. If it's even slightly rotated, that's your first clue, especially on the word Kentucky or the horse's reins. Use a magnifying glass or your phone's macro lens. If the lines look doubled, bingo. Next, mint mark. It has to be D for Denver. That's the batch with the known anomalies. Philadelphia minted Kentucky quarters don't carry the same value. If your coin has been through a washing machine, scratched up, or bent, value drops fast, but a clean, sharp, uncirculated 2001 D with those, that's the jackpot. Once you think you've found a treasure, don't guess its worth, confirm it. Professional grading is the key point. 2 names dominate the coin world, PCGS and NGC. They'll assess its authenticity, grade it from 1 to 70, and seal it in a tamper-proof holder. It's like sending your car for inspection, but the results could add a few zeros to your life. Even some coins graded at MS63 or MS64 have sold for 6 figures. Imagine what a near-perfect one, with a rare error, could fetch on auction day. And speaking of auctions, let's say you've got the coin. It's graded, and now comes the next step, getting paid. You've got options, and you'll want to choose wisely. Private collectors might make you an offer you can't refuse. Big-name auction houses like Heritage or Stacksbowers could put your coin on a global stage. Some sellers wait for coin expos or numismatic conventions, where the big spenders come to play, but one man named Terry took a different path. He held onto his graded Kentucky quarter for 5 years, watched the market, studied auctions, then sold it for $1.6 million when the demand was peaking. Patience, timing, confidence. That's the formula. Here's a question worth pondering: why do coins like this keep getting more valuable? It's simple. Scarcity plus nostalgia. There are fewer of these error coins out there, and as time passes, collectors get more competitive, more emotional, and more generous with their wallets. Add in economic shifts, the rise of tangible investments, and the growing community of coin influencers. Yes, that's a thing, and you've got the perfect storm. Coins aren't just relics anymore. They're stories, investments. Their freedom. So now you know, the 2001 D Kentucky quarter dollar, not just a coin, but a possibility. A possibility that might be sitting in your kitchen drawer waiting to be discovered, waiting to tell its story, and maybe, just maybe, waiting to change your life. The next time you get change at the gas station or dig through old boxes in the attic, check the quarters, because your $1 million moment might be one coin flip away. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, your fortune might already be in your hands. What if I told you there's a simple quarter out there, struck in 2013 with a small letter P under the word Liberty, that could be worth not 25 cents, not $100, but a jaw-dropping $1.7 million? Yeah, you heard me right. .1 coin, .1 quarter, .1 life-changing opportunity. In today's video, we're diving deep into the incredible story of the 2013 P. Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial Quarter Dollar. We'll explore why it's skyrocketing in value, what to look for in your own change jar, and how a quiet revolution is happening in the world of coin collectors across America. So grab your old coin jar, settle into your favorite chair, and don't even think about skipping. By the end of this video, you might be staring at a $1 million fortune sitting in your kitchen drawer. Before we talk big bucks, let's rewind the clock. In 2013, the United States Mint released a series of quarters as part of the America the Beautiful program. One of these was the Perry's Victory Quarter, commemorating the legendary Battle of Lake Erie and honoring peace between nations. The coin features a tall memorial and 2 soldiers, one gazing outward, another standing guard. It's a symbol of courage, of vigilance, and of the kind of history most people pass by without a second glance. But here's the thing: some of these coins, especially the ones struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the ones with that little P mark, were different. Subtly, mysteriously, and quite possibly, accidentally different, which brings us to the $1 million question. Not all 2013 Perry's Victory quarters are valuable. The magic is in the mistakes. The rarest, most valuable versions have minting errors, tiny imperfections that make coin collectors' hearts race, double dies, where the design is stamped twice, giving the letters or images a shadowy effect, die cracks, where a break in the die causes raised lines on the coin's surface, off-center strikes, where the design is noticeably out of place, missing clad layers, revealing the copper underneath, and even a ghostly haze caused by improper planchet treatment. Now imagine this. You're at a gas station, and the clerk gives you change. You barely glance at the coins, but in your hand is a 2013 P. Perry's Victory quarter with a perfect double die, sharp, crisp, and clear. That coin, in pristine uncirculated condition, with the right error, has been valued on the private market for up to $1.7 million. In Ohio, a man in his 60s named Larry had been collecting coins since the 70s. One day, while organizing his collection, he noticed an odd Perry's Victory quarter with a strange doubling on the words E pluribus unum. He sent it for grading. When it came back, he nearly fainted. MS69 condition. Prominent double die. Private collector offered him $1.2 million on the spot. He didn't just sell a coin that day. He bought freedom. He paid off his mortgage, bought his wife the RV she always wanted, and now spends his days trout fishing in Montana. And here's the twist, his second rare quarter is still in his safe. Here's how you can turn detective and hunt down a millionaire coin in your home. First, look for the P mint mark on the front, right under "In God We Trust." Next, grab a magnifying glass or even your phone camera zoom. You're looking for a lettering that appears doubled or blurred, especially around the words Perry's Victory, United States of America, and E pluribus unum. Raised lines or bumps across Washington's face or along the edge. Die cracks are common in rare errors. Reddish tones peeking through could mean a missing clad layer. Anything that looks weird or unbalanced is worth a second look. Too perfect, and it's still in shiny, uncirculated condition. It could be a hidden gem. And just before we get to how to sell one for maximum value, let's talk about what not to do. Thousands of people every year lose money on rare coins because they rush. They find what looks like a valuable quarter and post it online, hoping for a quick flip. They get lowballed by resellers who see the goldmine but offer peanuts. Some people even clean their coins, scrubbing them with toothpaste or vinegar, not knowing it destroys the surface and drops the value to pennies. Never sell it without getting it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. Don't sell to just anyone. The right collector will pay 6 or even 7 figures, but you need to know where to find them. Now let's reveal the golden pathway to cashing in. Get it graded. Submit it to PCGS or NGC. Yes, it takes a few weeks, but it's worth it. Research sales of similar coins. Look at auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers. You'll find verified sales of coins just like yours hitting 6 and 7 figures. There are professionals who can help you handle the negotiation, paperwork, and marketing. You don't just want to sell a coin. You want to turn it into a lifestyle. Imagine retiring early, paying off everything, setting your kids or grandkids up for life. That's what this one coin can do, but it all starts with knowing what's in your pocket. Somewhere out there, a 2013 P. Perry's Victory quarter with a near-flawless error is still floating in circulation. It could be in a vending machine. It could be in your sock drawer. It could be under your car seat or hiding in your grandson's piggy bank. The world of coin collecting is changing. And for everyday Americans between 30 and 70, this isn't just a hobby anymore, it's a second chance. What if I told you that a simple coin in your pocket could be worth more than a brand new Ferrari? Not just any coin, but one that looks like every other quarter you've seen 1,000 times, only this one is different. This one is worth $1.8 million. Stick with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes the 2018 P Pictured Rocks quarter so valuable, how to identify it, and maybe, just maybe, you'll realize you've had a treasure sitting unnoticed in your change jar. This whole time. Let's go back for a moment to 2018. The United States Mint released the first quarter in that year's America the Beautiful series. It featured the majestic Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore in Michigan. A stunning coin, sure, but at first glance, just another piece of currency designed for everyday use. What no one expected was what happened next. A few collectors began reporting strange anomalies, slight shifts in the design, unusual die marks, and one particular version of this coin caught fire. You see, the 2018 P Mint Mark quarters were struck in Philadelphia. That mint mark was important. It separated ordinary coins from potentially life-changing ones, but what made this version rare was what happened during the minting process itself. A tiny misalignment. A rare double die error. A surface irregularity on Lady Liberty's robe, combined with a sharp, flawless strike. It was an accident. A freak moment that the mint didn't catch, but collectors did. They became worth more than most people's retirement accounts. Now I know what you're thinking. How in the world does a 25-cent coin become a $1.8 million treasure? Let's start with rarity. There are over 400 million quarters struck every year. Out of those, only a tiny fraction carry minting errors. And an even tinier fraction are preserved in near-perfect condition. It was graded MS68 by PCGS. That's mint state, almost untouched since the day it was struck. No fingerprints. No scratches. Nowhere. Collectors and investors alike crave these near-pristine examples, especially when the coin carries a compelling backstory. And here's the twist. This particular coin wasn't just graded and stored in a vault. It was found by accident by a retired carpenter in rural Ohio who kept it in a shoebox, thinking it was just a nice-looking quarter. More on that man's story in just a minute, but first, let's go deeper into what you need to look for if you're hoping to strike gold with a quarter of your own. Pull out your coin jars, because here's what you need to look for. First, the P Mint mark under the word "In God We Trust." That tells us it was minted in Philadelphia. Next, examine the obverse, or front, for a slight doubling of the letters, especially in Liberty and quarter dollar. On the reverse, pay close attention to the rocky shoreline. Some rare versions show a shadowy double impression along the edges of the cliffs. Coins that were circulated, used in stores, rubbed around in pockets, lose value fast. The $1 million versions? They look like they just came off the press. If you think you have something close, don't clean it, let an expert do the evaluating, because here's the wild part: many people have tossed these valuable coins back into circulation unknowingly because they didn't look all that special. Walter had been collecting quarters casually since the 1980s.no gloves. No plastic cases, just a coffee tin in his basement. One morning, sipping his coffee and sorting through change from a gas station run, he noticed something different. A shine. A sharpness. A depth in the design he hadn't seen before. He set it aside, tossed it in with his better-looking coins. Months passed, then his grandson, a young coin enthusiast, visited and asked to look through his collection. Within seconds, the boy froze. "Grandpa," he said, "I think this quarter's rare." One appraisal led to another, then came the grading, then the bidding. Walter paid off his mortgage, bought an RV, took his grandkids across the country. You might not be a coin expert, you might not have a coffee tin full of old quarters in the basement, but chances are, you've got coins lying around. In your glove box, in that old jacket pocket, in the cracks between your sofa cushions. And the truth is, it only takes 1.1 coin, 1 glance, 1 decision to check instead of spend. That could be the moment everything changes. Financial freedom isn't always found in the stock market or real estate. Sometimes, it's hidden in plain sight. In your palm. In your change tray at the grocery store. Step 1. Grab a magnifying glass or your smartphone camera. Step 2. Check for that 2018 date and the P mint mark. Step 3. Look for signs of doubling or sharpness in the design. If you spot something, consult a reputable coin grading service. PCGS and NGC are the top dogs. Yes, it costs a little to grade. But if your coin is worth anything close to what Walter's was, that small investment could return millions. Also, consider visiting coin shows, join online forums, learn what separates the common from the exceptional, because once you know what to look for, you'll never look at coins the same way again. The next time someone hands you a quarter, don't just spend it, study it, because hidden within the ordinary might be your shot at an extraordinary life. This has been more than a story about a coin. It's a reminder that opportunities are everywhere, even in your pocket. If this inspired you, drop a comment below and tell us what you found in your collection, and subscribe, because next week, we're diving into a 1967 quarter that's been shocking the coin world with six-figure sales. Have you ever looked at a simple coin and wondered if it could change your life? Most people don't. They see quarters as something to toss into a vending machine, a parking meter, or the tip jar at the local coffee shop. But what if I told you that a single 2020p National Park quarter, yes, the kind you might have jingling around in your junk drawer, could be worth up to $1.9 million? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this particular quarter so rare, how to identify if you're holding a gold mine, and how one man's curiosity turned pocket change into a multi-million-dollar windfall. It all started in Pennsylvania, not far from where the 2020p quarters were minted. A retired machinist named Charles had just returned from the grocery store and emptied his change onto the kitchen table. Among the coins sat an ordinary-looking quarter. But Charles had an eye for detail. He noticed something off. The coin was shiny but didn't quite match the others. The design seemed just a bit sharper. The color, slightly different, and here's where the story takes a twist. Charles kept the coin instead of spending it. That one decision changed everything. He later discovered that this 2020p National Park quarter was no ordinary coin. It was a rare variety, with a minting error that made it almost one of a kind. That quarter was eventually valued at $1.9 million. The National Park Quarter Series began in 2010, part of the America the Beautiful program by the U.S. Mint. It featured designs of iconic parks and national sites from every state and territory. In 2020, the Mint released 5 new designs. But one stood out: Tallgrass Prairie National Preserve, located in Kansas. The design was elegant. A big blue stem and a regal fritillary butterfly, symbolizing the fragile balance of nature. But it wasn't the design alone that sparked interest, it was what happened during the minting process. The Philadelphia Mint, known by the P mint mark, a small batch of these quarters came out, different due to a rare double die strike. Some coins had slight doubling on the butterfly's wings and lettering, imperfections that would go unnoticed to most. But in the world of coin collectors, this is pure gold, and here's the kicker: most people didn't even realize they had them. Only a handful of these error-struck 2020p Tallgrass Prairie quarters exist. Experts estimate fewer than 20 made it out into circulation before the mistake was caught. The most valuable quarter was found in near perfect mint state. It showed minimal wear, retained its luster, and the doubling was crisp. With the surge in interest in rare modern coins, collectors are willing to pay eye-watering amounts to complete their sets. And when you combine rarity with historical interest and visual uniqueness, it becomes a bidding war. The record-breaking sale happened at a private auction in late 2024. The winning bid? $1.9 million right now. There could be more of these rare 2020p quarters sitting unnoticed in dresser drawers, jars, or even inside your car's cup holder, and believe me, collectors are on the hunt. Coin forums are buzzing. Dealers are scanning their stock. Everyday people, just like Charles, are learning to spot the telltale signs of a valuable coin. Imagine being the next person to find one that you might not even need to search far. You could be just one handful of spare change away from joining the Millionaires Club. The letter P should appear on the obverse side, just next to Washington's ponytail. That indicates it came from the Philadelphia Mint. Check for the tallgrass prairie scene, big blue stem, and the butterfly. That's your starting point. Now the hard part. Look closely at the wings of the butterfly and the letters E pluribus unum. On the rare variety, you'll notice a subtle doubling effect, almost like a shadow. Use a magnifying glass. If the coin looks sharp, uncirculated, and hasn't been dulled by use, it could fetch a lot more. The top-graded coin sold for $1.9 million because of its pristine condition. Don't clean the coin. Cleaning can damage the surface and destroy its value. Take it to a certified coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. That's exactly what Charles did. And it paid off. This isn't just about a rare coin. It's about attention. Charles paid attention to something most of us overlook. He took a few seconds to be curious. That small act led to a life-changing discovery. In a world where people chase lottery tickets, Charles found his fortune in something he already had right in his hands. Wealth doesn't always come from doing more. Sometimes it comes from seeing more, from noticing the details, from asking questions, or from looking twice at something everyone else ignored. That's the kind of thinking that turns ordinary into extraordinary. There are still mysteries to be uncovered in the most ordinary places. Maybe you're one of the lucky few holding a fortune without even knowing it. Whether it's a coin, a family heirloom, or an old collection from your grandfather's drawer, every item tells a story. The next great coin discovery might have your name on it. Take a look. Be curious. Because sometimes, wealth hides in the smallest places. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share it with a fellow collector, and subscribe for more deep dives into the fascinating world of valuable coins.